your far left, so there's like green button on the slides.
Oh, okay. You mean this one?
Yeah. Yes. Now it's perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Joyce, I will first introduce you.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Happy Friday. Dr. Joyce Wang is an assistant professor of marketing at Bentley University. She graduated from Michigan State in 2018 with a PhD degree in marketing. Her research focuses on customer experience, customer-centric product design, customer evaluation, and e-commerce. She has published in many elite journals, such as Journal of Business Logistics. It's an A-level journal in supply chain and logistics, and also a journal of the Academy of Marketing Science, which is also an A-level journal in marketing and a Financial Times Top 50 journal. Her presentation today will be about experiential product design. Yeah, Joyce, we are excited to have you here.
Thank you, Hui. Thank you, Yanhui. So the research project I'm going to present today is maximizing the effect of experiential design on converting consideration into purchase. Okay, so before I start, I would like to invite you to watch 2 short advertising campaigns with me.
Sometimes you gotta go back to actually move forward. And I don't mean going back to reminisce or chase ghosts. I mean go back to see where you came from, where you've been, how you got here, see where you're going. I know there are those that say you can't go back. Yes, you can. Just have to look in the right place.
Okay, that's the first one. Let's see the second one. Well, these commercials is about Lincoln. It's a car commercial. And do you guys feel like, is there any a little bit difference from these 2 campaigns or the whole series of the campaign relative to traditional car advertisement? Is there anything unique that may draw attention? No. Well, traditionally, when marketers are showing car advertisement, they basically focus on brand, or they focus on functionality, or they focus on, let's say, technology there. But in this commercial, these 2 commercials and the whole series of the commercial, for example, this one, the campaign is basically selling the experience. So barely it talks about features, barely it talks about brand, barely it talks about price. It's only selling experience there. And if we think back how marketers selling experience, the application actually has been used a lot in the field. We are familiar with IKEA, right? IKEA. So what makes IKEA successful and different from other furniture retailers is that instead of showing individual or separate furnitures there, IKEA is basically showing the whole feeling. How would you feel? How would you feel when you have one piece of furniture sitting in a showroom and people would actually visualize that how it may look like in your home, in your own home there, right? And in advertisement as well, this campaign here, Electrolux, which is a European high-end home appliances. And typically in this category, marketers would want to feature on technology, functionality, but their newest campaign, again, is not talking about any of that. Instead, in the campaign, they have Kelly Ripple come back and just having quality, enjoyable time with the family. There's nothing about the feature of home appliances at all. So all of these campaigns together here, the goal is trying to evoke positive imagery experience in the pre-consumption or pre-purchase stage, imagery experience. Okay, so in the design field, product design, it has been this trendy topic talking about experience or experiential design. Basically, this topic advocates for design for solution and experience instead of features. And on top of that, the design wants to evoke delightful sensory experiences, multi-sensory experiences. If we look at this concept and bridge that into marketing literature, and there is this old theory, imagery experience, very old theory about imagery experience. Basically, this theory is saying that consumers vigorously experience with the product through pre-consumption imagery. So before you actually buy or use it, you have that mental fantasy, how you're gonna use it, and that is a very, very important imagery experience would drive your purchase decision here. But most of the marketing literature that use imagery experience so far has been focused on advertisement appeals instead of product design. So that's where I want to fill this gap, how to incorporate experiential design in product design there to enhance purchase consideration. Okay, so a quick review on product design, in the marketing literature. When we talk about product design, there are usually two dimensions that marketers would focus on. The first one is functional. Okay, what is the quality? What's the size? Those we would say manifest or features of a product design. And another dimension is form, the physical look of a design, And within this dimension, people talk about aesthetics, how beautiful a design looks like, right? It is a very subjective perception there, how beautiful a design looks like. And another one is atypical design, especially in the automotive industry, how a car looks different from its own brand or from consumers' expectation for that car model. For example, SUV, okay, atypical design. And very recently, people start talking about experiential design or multi-sensory design. There has been only one study talking about experiential value in product design, but this article here basically talks about affective response. So what they did is to input or imprint a smiling face on a product, and how does that would increase affective response and product evaluation. But it doesn't really talk comprehensively how experiential design would influence purchase decision, consumer behavior, and how to maximize that effect there. Okay, so that's a quick review on what are the dimensions in product design literature here. And there are some rising views in the product design literature as well. The first rising view is to handle customer heterogeneity in design perception. So facing the same design, why some consumers like it, some other consumers do not like it. When we talk about perception, it is very subjective there, right? Some people, when we talk about cars, some people care more about functionality, and some other people may care more about the design. I mean, the look of the design, how beautiful a car looks like. So there is heterogeneity there. And another rising view here is the holistic perception. Holistic perception. Literature has been established that when we look at the design, consumer, especially in perception-wise, in their mindset, they don't process features individually. So it is basically like a guess thought. So we view the design all together, and we still have those dimensions, right? Experiential, we have functional, and we have aesthetics. So that means there must be some interplays or interactions among these dimensions there. So how do we handle that? So that is that rising view. And the new rising view is multisensory imagery experience. That's where I want to fit in here. How do we incorporate experiential or multisensory imagery experience into product design? Okay, so here is my research question. The first one, whether experiential design dimension motivates a customer's purchase conversion. Purchase conversion means that from consideration to actual purchase behavior. Why I want to put this outcome here instead of purchase instead? Well, when you think about imagery experience, you would only develop that fantasy when you really like a product, right? You don't want to put that effort on something you don't care about. So basically, consumer would only think about the experience, imagery, or fantasizing the experience when they consider buying a product. That's why I set this outcome here instead of purchase the behavior directly. And if yes, whether this effect acquires any boundary conditions to emerge. Okay, consumers are aware that they are basically fantasizing the experience. Okay, how much they can trust on that? How much, is there any threshold that we need to set up to emerge that effect? If we find that threshold, are there any other contingencies to maximize this effect there? So these are my focal research questions there. Before I introduce the study, how I conducted, I want to introduce a little bit conceptual background and key variables here. So this research is basically about experiential design dimension here. The first key construct or variable here is called experiential design. So by definition, it is an array of sensory attributes and that reflect 3 benefits from the design. And these benefits can be usability, usage pleasure, how fun do you feel when you drive a car, and so.
Excuse me, so can I ask a question?
Sure.
So by the way, so my background is economics, so the questions maybe sounds naive, all right? So so you talk about design, so I think, so you talk about a few things. So do you think, so the firms, so they are considered cause? So let's say, for example, Tesla, right? So Tesla, I mean, the one thing they're trying to sell is, so they can just sell you a car for like a 35,000. Right, and then so say, for example, Apple, right? So Apple, I guess, just nicely fits into all the things you talk about, but pretty much at the end of every event, they're going to proudly say, oh, so you can get these for like 700 or 900. Okay. So I'm just wondering, so how important is that? Again, so this I just from economics point of view, I thought cost is always a concern. So maybe or here you just assume so the customer has like a deep pocket. I just curious.
Oh, first of all, thanks for the question. When I conduct analysis there, I included cost there, price information. And also I would say that given the same cost, given different features at the same cost, there is combination, right? There are different features there, like the size of a car and the different level of technology. Given the same overall price, you may combine different features together, and the different features together would deliver different experience.
So basically, so the way I understand it is you already control for price. You just look at, so you control the price, and then you already separate the customer by their budget, basically.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Price and also brand effects. I will show you in a little bit. Okay, so that is experiential design, and these three sub-dimension is already established in the literature showing what is experiential value for a consumer there. And the second one is heterogeneity in perceptions of experiential design. Well, if you compare with functional design or even subjectively aesthetic design, for experience, especially imagery experience, it is virtually unbounded there, right? So facing the same design, people have really, really different experience or imagery experience there. So there will be a lot of dispersion or heterogeneity at a product level. Okay, so at the product level, this dispersion of evaluations for experiential dimension may reflect two information. The first one is processing fluency. So if there is a lot of dispersion in the evaluation, it is very likely that the configuration of those individual features do not match, so consumers cannot really process a design pretty well. So that's one aspect the dispersion would reflect. The other aspect dispersion would reflect is the design imaginability. So basically it tells how romantic a consumer can fantasize about the design and how vague a design looks like. Actually, in a very, in an article talking about product experience, and it is saying that the reason that experience is seductive and attractive, it is because it is vague. So consumers can put whatever and however they want on that experience and enjoy it. So dispersion may reflect these two aspects here. And the third one is customer subjectivity. So again, facing the same design, every person is different. A customer may have very, very different evoked imagery experience from others. Okay, so that is a customer level characteristics here. So these are the three constructs that I will be focused on in this study: experiential design and product level dispersion, customer level deviation there. And another thing that is very important about consumers' evaluation on experiential design is that experiential design and imagery experience is endogenous. Basically, again, facing the same design, people like it may come from different reasons, right? Maybe because some people like this particular style, some other people like other style, and based on, for example, if you have a family, you may want to have an SUV. Like I used to live in Michigan, I need to have a car that has four-wheel drive so I don't get stuck in the winter. So based on everyone's experience there, so their evaluation for experiential design is completely different. That's what we say, that experiential design and product experience in general is endogenous, and it is affected by a function of functional and aesthetic design dimensions. A car has a good quality, performance, looks good, and then my imagery experience would be more pleasant, right? And marketing communication, and also customer characteristics. Some people just are more romantic. They're more likely to, evoke imagery experience. Some other people are probably more pragmatic. They would just look at like third-party online reviews and talk about reliability when they buy a car. So there are different aspects here would influence experiential design perceptions here. Okay, conceptual model, this is what I'm testing here. So my focal variable is experiential design, and which is measured by imagery experience when consumers see a design. And it is an unobservable dimension in design. My outcome is purchase conversion, and I want to see how experiential design affects purchase conversion here, okay? There are other design dimensions, observable design dimensions, functional design, and aesthetics designs. And as we just discussed, as I just mentioned, these observable design dimensions would affect how consumers form their imagery experience. So this gray arrows here shows imagery formation that takes care of or addresses endogeneity, part of the endogeneity relationship there. And we have two other aspects, imagery subjectivity at customer level and product imagery dispersion at product level, and how does that affect consumers' experiential design perceptions here. And more importantly, I would want to know what is the threshold effect, how to emerge that effect, and what are the boundary conditions to maximize this effect here. Okay, to support this study, I use US automotive industry. Well, the reason is that my outcome is consideration to purchase behavior, actual purchase, right? So there is a meaningful lag between consideration and purchase. So I can capture that. And another reason is for design, especially automotive, for car design, it offers both utilitarian value and hedonic values there. So design really matters to consumers for car, this particular category. And this is my sample size at customer level. And I have 37 brands and 221 different car models there. It is a multi-source data set to support this study. So I have a marketing research firm back in Michigan. So they were happy to offer this data set. There's the study of design and imagery. So in their study, they have I think around 40 different items talking about consumers' reaction to different design attributes. Could be functionality, could be aesthetics, and also could be experiential imagery study. That's what they included in. And marketing effort, customer activities, how customers search information, how much does third-party information would influence consumers, and customer demographics there. This is a huge survey studies here. And this marketing research firm also collaborated with 6 panels. And those panels work with local dealers there from different brands. So I was able to merge partial data from this survey study to actual purchase there. So that's how I get purchase consideration to actual purchase. And beyond that, I collect car model prices. I want to control a price information, and also brand is very important in consumers' mindsets. So I used a Young and Rubicon customer-based brand equity, another third-party data. All of these sources work together to support this study here. So this is my equation. Basically, I want to use experiential design, functionality, aesthetics, their interaction, product dispersion, customer subjectivity, their interaction, and model level specifics, brand level specifics, for example, brand equity, demographics, brand dummies, body type dummies, SUVs, body car, sedan, time and panel dummies together to predict this consideration to purchase, to predict this consideration purchase. And because experiential design is endogenous, so I use control function approach to address that. And for the estimation, I use the heterostochastic probit model because I assume that the effects of experiential design do not equal across brands or do not equal across different setup of functional and aesthetic design. Is there any question here, since we have a professor from I think
one question is about consideration. So suppose a customer bought Toyota eventually. How did you know that he originally considered Honda? Like, how did you know the consideration set? Because that's not observable, right?
Oh, that is in the survey study here. So they would ask, how many brands are you considering you're buying right now? So this study, when I clean the data, I only included consumers who would want to buy a new car or replace a new car within 6 months. And then ask what are the brands you are thinking of right now. And then we use that customer ID to link with this purchase data in the end.
I see.
Yeah,
So
this survey study is huge. I think I only took 20% of them that is matchable with purchase behavior in the end.
I see. So the customer purchase data is like 6 months after the design and imagery study, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So this is what I found there. So for imagery experience formation, as I expected, there's nothing like surprising here. If you have a good quality, beautiful car, the imagery experience is more pleasant, is higher. And dispersion, if the dispersion is high, that means consumers may have difficult time to process information, design information. That would inhibit positive imagery experience there. And if a customer is very romantic, basically loves imagining things, this customer is more likely to have positive imagery experience. That is the imagery formation stage. And I got these estimates from control function approach stage 1 to assess the relationship between each one of them towards experiential design. More importantly, should I move this? Oh, sorry. Can you guys see well the chart?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so more importantly, I want to know the boundary condition and also how to maximize this effect here, right? So the three-way interactions here among the 3 design dimensions, functional, aesthetics, and the size of experiential design. If you look at these 2 charts here, I mean, my y-axis is the effect size of experiential design. Most of them has positive and significant experiential design on purchase conversion there, except for a few cases. This part here and this part here, right? So what does that tell us? So as long as not both functional and aesthetic design are too low, there is a significant effect of experiential design on purchase conversion. Well, that's not surprising, but what a little bit surprises me is you don't necessarily to have both good in functional or aesthetics. As long as one is good enough, this effect is emerging there. That's the implication. So people may care different things from a design, either utilitarian value from functional design or hedonic values from aesthetic design. As long as one of them is satisfied, they wouldn't be shy to fantasize in the positive experience there. Okay, that's the threshold effect. And another thing from these 2 figures here is most of the time synergistic occur. So that's not surprising. A little bit surprising is like, if you look at this red line on the figure 2B, it is dropping here, right? So that is one exception. So this line is telling us one functional design is super high, very high, above 1 standard deviation. When a car looks more beautiful, a customer may not trust his or her guts as much as we would want to. The effect size of experiential design is decreasing as aesthetic design increases only if functional design is super high. So what does that tell us? Well, first of all, there is a segment of very pragmatic consumers who just acknowledge functional design, and they may have this behavior called self-introspection. Self-introspection, it means that, oh, I know I'm fantasizing here, but I don't want to be fooled. So basically, for this category, this segment, consumers would try to not believe in their own gut in experiential design. Okay, so that is the interplay among design dimensions. And another thing, design dispersion, product imagery dispersion, product imagery expression. In the imagery formation stage, we say that this dispersion reflects processing fluence. That was before, right? But now, if the imagery experience is already formed, is already there, so this dispersion reflects imaginability. So how much room the design can leave to consumers to fantasize about the experience there. The larger, the better. So that's why this dispersion here would enhance the effect of experiential design on purchase conversion. So high dispersion there has the higher value there. Okay, customer.
Excuse me. So sorry to interrupt you. So I have another question. So I understand. So you look at car market, right? So that's what you look at.
Yes.
So I mean, so in the other markets, so maybe not sure this is relevant or not. Think about Amazon, right? So like recently, there's a phenomenon, or there's something people are trying to understand in Amazon or in Netflix. What they're trying to do is they use what they call big data or machine learning. They are trying to create. Sorry, so they are use some algorithm to trying to advertise or trying to provide something they think you may like the most. So what I'm trying to say is, so it means again, so car market may be different because the brand or the product so is fairly limited. And think about in large market, so what happens is so these firms they exploit your preference, and then so they are going to present something they think you may like it, or in some sense they create a market. I'm not sure. So this has been taken into account. So maybe this is not quite relevant. I'm not sure. So I make myself clear.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a totally interesting point. I think for Amazon or e-commerce there, I think they have the ability to do customization or personalization fully. They have the data available, and they can use that for different sort of product recommendations there. So they're basically using customer information to predict what you like, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, part of. So my point is, so it's more than they just provide what you like. So and then so in your context, potentially they can create something you like, or they persuade you to like something.
Oh yes, they definitely can persuade by using some level of customization, especially if we look at the implication here. So if you don't mind, I would want to explain this relationship. Then I will go back to a point that will be more connected.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes. So this chart here, figure, shows the moderating effect of customer imagery subjectivity. And we will see that when imagery experience is already formed, this subjectivity would reduce the effect. So basically, back to the points before, consumers are aware that they are fantasizing the experience. So too much deviation may cause self-introspection. So what we can do there, we cannot change customer characteristics per se, right? We cannot change who a person and the personality, but we can offer customization, some sort level of customization to reduce that concern for each consumers there. So they would know, okay, my fantasizing or my imagery experience is different from others. It is because of the features I chose. Of course, my experience or imagery experience is different than others, and I will feel comfortable with it. And then I would trust the evoked imagery experience based on the design. So we can use customization, that implication from what Professor Fen said from the e-commerce there. Do you think I addressed it, your question?
I think so. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so that is another boundary condition of customer level characteristics here. So basically, I want to offer 3 theoretical contributions and implication in product design. And the very, very first step is adding experiential dimension by bridging mental imagery literature here. I didn't talk much about this literature because it's very, very psychology. I don't know like what is your attraction for this one, but basically all my theoretical argument is trying to use this mental imagery literature to support how experiential design would work on consumer behavior. And I addressed the endogeneity of this particular dimension. And also by using the interplay, examining the interplay among all the 3 dimensions there, I found that the observable design dimensions, functional and aesthetics, they have the threshold effect and power to emerge the unobservable dimension there. And how consumers perceive these dimensions are different. Consumers put asymmetric weights on these 3 dimensions there. And except for other design dimensions, marketing communications and customer personal characteristics play a significant role to maximize this effect here. So that is the second implication. The third implication is the outcome here. So I didn't use purchase behavior directly. Well, as I said, we wouldn't put a lot of effort fantasizing something we don't care about unless we already consider buying it. So I think that is more meaningful. And manager-wise, when we talk about how consumer make a decision, the traditional funnel, purchase funnel, starting from awareness, familiarity, consideration, evaluation, and buy. But these days, consumers are so powerful. They collect information, talk to each other. When consumers get in touch with the brand, they already have awareness. They already have familiarity there. So that is not where companies or brands should compete. Where companies and brands should really compete is during this active evaluation stage from consideration and purchase. And strategy-wise, I think that is a more meaningful gap where marketers should put their efforts in. So that are the 3 implications there. And another interesting thing, I really found it interesting is marketing communication ambiguity. Marketing communication ambiguity, it has a 2-side effect. It is reflected by that dispersion variable. Okay, on one side, it means that the communication is vague and ambiguity, and that enhance the positive impact on experiential design or imagery experience overall. So that is a good thing. On the other side, this ambiguity here can possibly reduce information processing. So if you mismatch different features of a car, for example, someone who wants to drive a Jeep, that is an all-door active sporty car, and if you put on a pink color on it, I don't know how does it match. So ambiguity and mismatch here would increase dispersion. That is not a good thing for imagery experience. So strategy-wise, as a marketer, we really need to find ways to balance this. We really need to find a way to figure out what are the sources of this dispersion there. Is it because there are some sort of mismatching, or it is because that we leave sufficient room for consumers to fantasize? Okay, so it is a very important point for me. Manager-wise, when we talk about design, care more about solution, the gestalt, the holistic view, and we can use analytical driven guidance to allocate those 3 dimensions there. And also it comes back to that marketing communication thing. We want to make it vivid, explicit. We want to make it easy to process. And also we want to increase the imaginability there. And the last one, to reduce self-introspection, to increase consumer confidence in believing in this imagery experience, we can offer different levels of customization. Even for the car, there are a lot of different levels of customization there. So if consumers customize some sort of features as they want, as they like, and they will feel more comfortable, trust their own gut in this imagery experience. So that will help to avoid some potential attenuating effects here. So that's pretty much it. Any question?
Hey Joyce, did you compare the effect size of the functional value or functional design and aesthetic design and the experiential design, the effect size on conversion? Which one is playing a bigger part?
Experiential.
Experiential, okay.
Much larger. It is because you will have a high experiential, definitely your functional and aesthetics is at an acceptable or more than acceptable level already, right?
Yeah, good.
In my paper, I have like a relative comparison between those three.
Good, good. Another question is, maybe you haven't done this, maybe you can use purchase and not purchase as a as DV. You can use a logistic regression to check whether your results still hold. It can be a sensitivity analysis, I think. So purchase, not purchase, 0 and 1. I don't know whether that works.
You mean purchase, not purchase, or considered based given that consumer consider it purchase, and given that consumer consider it but not purchase?
Yeah, well, yeah, it depends on your data, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what I do. So my sample, when I run the analysis, is already about the observations that consumers already consider purchase.
Yeah.
And DV is when they consider, one consumer can consider purchasing different cars, like 3 to 5 different brands. And with 3 to 5 different brands, we have 1, 0, 1, 0 as the alternate. One is finally purchased it, and 0 is like finally not purchasing it.
Yeah. So I wonder whether if you do a logistic regression, whether your result will hold, still hold. Probably yes.
I hope yes. I will try. I will let you know. Thank you.
Joyce, Catherine also from the economics department. I had a question about how you did the estimation, or maybe related to the question of Yan-Hui. So you have, let's say one person is the customer, right? So in the data, what you have is eventually what the person bought, whether the person bought this particular car, this particular model. And then you have the characteristic of the person, and then you have a bunch of characteristic of the car, right?
Yeah.
So you're replicating this particular customer because you also know whether the person did not buy the other models. Is that how you did the estimation?
So basically the data is structured like one customer, and from 3 to 5, 6 different brands that he or she already considered, and then buy or not buy. For one customer, there is only one buy, right?
Yeah,
At least, or 0 buys, like not more than 1. I was thinking maybe I should use multi-level probit model, like address customer structure there. But I tried, honestly, it's just the estimation didn't converge. It's just too, I don't know what was going on there. Maybe I can.
Yeah, because that's what I was kind of imagining how your data would look. It sounded like you need to do like a conditional logit. I didn't look at conditional logit for a very long time, but it sounded like that's the appropriate approach, right? Because it's very similar to the research I do before is you have a given investment, and then that foreign investment has 50 different choices, which state it will go to. I think the appropriate approach for what you're doing is probably very similar to that idea, that the customer has all these choices, Then eventually we'll make one decision among a group of choices. So
Yeah.
the fundamental question is whether you need the choice set to be constant across all the customers. I don't know if that's something for you to think, because it looks like different people have different subsets, right? Or choice sets.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
did I did think about that and I tried. I don't know what was the real reason. I think it could be it's a little for different customers, their consideration set is bigger,
Yeah.
small, bigger, small. So I think the best, it didn't even converge when I run the analysis. So I was thinking if I controlled enough for customer demographics or customer information there, it should help to relieve some sort of concern of this multi-layer thing.
Yeah, so I think that's when you need to think more deeply. What's the appropriate approach? Because eventually the customer has a choice set, right? And if you're combining very heterogeneous people, maybe it will not converge. But I think if you look at it more narrower,
Oh, okay.
you know what I'm saying, right? Maybe it's more appropriate if the people's preferences are very similar. The fundamental question is among a set choice, which one eventually the customer will go with. So
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, that's just for something to think.
Yeah, exactly. I really appreciate it. I was just thinking there is a like trade-off if I want to control more the heterogeneity from the model side, the design itself, like that's what I'm doing right now. Like I control more heterogeneity in the design side or consumer side. Maybe I need to figure out a way to address both, but I haven't. I put more effort controlling, addressing the heterogeneity in the design of brands and the other attributes in the design there. Because my assumption is given different levels of functional aesthetics, consumers may have different reaction there. I think that's a significant major source of variation, but I will try to either get help or just try to figure out how to improve it or have some sensitivity analysis there to confirm with the finding maybe.
Okay, so I just want to let you know,